Hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to the announcement for Steel Division 2. Command your army, fight your battles. From Eugen Systems, the makers of Wargame, Red Dragon, Airland Battle, and European Escalation, and of course, Steel Division, the Normandy 44 battles on the western front of the World War II campaign. We're now going to the eastern front of that campaign, known as Operation Bagration, where the Soviets were advancing upon Warsaw and the Germans were trying to turn them back. So this is going to be highly anticipated here, as it's now finally another game taking place on the eastern front. Very, very huge campaigns, I must say, and this will be focused on grand strategy as well as small house-to-house battles as well. Maybe not on the small scale of, for example, Wargame, or rather Men of War Assault Squad, but more Wargame Red Dragon-like, where you're fighting over neighborhoods and streets as well as rivers. And of course, in this game, you'll be doing, as I mentioned, grand strategy, where you'll be fighting the operations yourself. So for basically clarification, let's hop down here and take a look at where you'll be reliving history. Set during Operation Bagration on the Eastern Front in the summer of 1944, Steel Division 2 pushes the limits of the World War II tactical experience and brings a new one-to-one scale dynamic strategy campaigns. You're now in charge of your entire army. So essentially, instead of fighting historic battles that may have taken place, in this you'll be given a campaign for the single-player campaign where you need to take certain objectives by certain turns, I'm assuming, or certain dates, in order to probably receive reinforcements or to complete your objectives. So, for example, if you're the Germans, they could say, hey, the Soviets are coming to take this bridgehead, get there before this turn, deflect their attack, and continue onward to attack their supplies, that type of thing. So not only will it be a battlefield such as this, where you're seeing, like, for example, a large plain area with a river going through it where you need to fight, but also the grand strategy map, where you'll see the maps of Europe from afar, and you'll be able to choose where you send your T-34 armies, where you send your mechanized, where you send infantry and support and aircraft, that type of thing, to fight those battles. So let's drop down yet again here and look a little bit more into the history of this. In the summer of 1944, the Red Army launched a massive offensive in Belarusia, just a few weeks after the invasion of Normandy, and 3 years to the day after Germany's 1941 invasion of the Soviet Union. Codenamed Operation Bagration, and the first of a series of major strikes, it will bring the Red Army 5 weeks later at the gates of Warsaw. The Wehrmacht's Army Group Center was routed, with a total of 17 Wehrmacht divisions completely destroyed. It was a blow the Germans would never recover from. And that, of course, was also around the time of Kursk as well, the battle, I believe, taking place in 43. Really, it was a continuation of blow after blow that knocked the Germans all the way back to Berlin. Now, unfortunately, we won't be seeing any sort of invasion of Berlin at this point, because it will be only the campaign taking place from June of 44 to August of 44. But with this colossal content, it really just looks beautiful. It gets me very excited. Now, of course, for those of you who may remember Steel Division kind of had a lot of hype around what people expected from, like, Wargame, for example, but there was something missing, and I don't even really know what it was. But the game had all the pieces there, but perhaps the heart wasn't there, and the community is very important as well. But speaking of community, this offers hundreds of hours of gameplay, whether you prefer to play solo or competitive multiplayer or co-op. So that does hint at a co-op mode. Perhaps we could play 1v1, you and a friend on the Eastern Front, you as the Germans, your friend versus the Soviets versus each other on the battlefield, to see who takes the most amount of territory within that month or something like that. So that might be really cool. A lot of expectations, a lot of speculation, and a lot of hype here. So just keep that in mind. Jump into the gigantic strategic dynamic campaigns. The brand new epic game mode puts you in charge of an entire army, up to 150 by 100 kilometer maps. Wow. Battle in multiple skirmish modes, 25 new maps, conquest, destruction, attack, defense, and more. Now that is going to be one that I really want to see. More attack and defense. Customize your perfect battlegrounds in the brand new deck system, allowing for never-before-seen tactical freedom, so we'll see what that has to offer. And then, of course, if you sign up now, which I'm assuming just make an account on the Eugen website, you get access to an ace known as Marcel Elbert, who flew the Yak 9T. And, of course, what you can basically do here is count this as some sort of a pre-order bonus, but you're really not pre-ordering. But there is a little bit, just a sprinkling of, for example, if you act now, you get access to this fight. It really doesn't, I've noticed in the actual game of Steel Division, it really didn't make too much of a difference. It's not something I really heard too many people complain or mention about. But anyway, let's hop back up here just to take a look at one last thing. Extreme authenticity. More than ever, Steel Division offers the most authentic depiction of World War II real-time combat through highly detailed models believable battlegrounds, and realistic unit behavior. The brand new dynamic strategic campaigns will offer an authentic experience thanks to every detail being realized on a one-to-one scale, from order of battle units and the maps and combat. So really, as we're looking here at a zoom in of a T-34 with troops in the background, Eugen Systems has always been great at zooming out from almost a satellite-like view from their days of Ruse, which you were looking at a whole battle map with, markers for troops, to, for example, European Escalation, or even Red Dragon, where you can zoom out all the way to see the entire battlefield, and then zooming in to see just an individual tank. So incredible graphics, beautiful landscapes, wonderful explosions. Everything looks gorgeous in this game and always makes me excited. So hopefully there's a complete follow-through with everything that they have to offer. They always seem to deliver all the pieces, but some things always feel like they haven't been assembled upon delivery. Now, with that said, I'm still impressed and deeply in love with Steel Division, though I didn't really play through all the missions because some things were just a little off. I enjoyed the multiplayer a little bit more, which kind of slowly fizzled out because of the community kind of just not really being able to customize things much past World War II. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer then and do a little analysis of that. I've got high hopes for this game. I don't want to bash it, but of course there's always hype and real expectations and then truly what you get. So hopefully we get a very much polished multiplayer experience, the option to play with and against friends on the same battlefield. It would be awesome to play with a friend as the Germans to push back the Soviets, or to be the Soviets and push against the Germans, or to go one-on-one. It also would be nice to see in the future of Steel Division. Upon the time that Steel Division released, I was thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be Steel Division 2, Heroes of Stalingrad, or something like that. I knew they would do the Eastern Front. I was expecting it to be something in the winter, but this is the summer. Eugen, for the longest time, has been getting away with escaping the opportunity to do any sort of winter maps. So I guess this is yet another one where they get lucky because they attacked in the summer. But anyway, let's take a look at this trailer and let's do some breakdowns. I'll play the trailer and we'll come back and just take a look at what we see. You do see the trailer, pieces of it playing in front of you, so we'll do the full analysis after we play through it. Here we go. All right, let's do a little bit of a trailer breakdown. It's not going to be too much of an analysis. I'm not going to, pause it and shout out when I see a T-34. We all know what that looks like. But beautiful sweeping landscapes. Oh, look, T-34. And we're going to see probably a lot of vehicles in the regular gameplay. I think they really go for, there you go, you see multiple T-34s. I think that's what you're going to see units move as. If you zoom down to the screen, or into the battlefield on your screen, this is what you're going to see, is units moving in groups of 4, groups of maybe 5 or 6, depending on how the Soviets command them. So as you see these tanks rolling out like this, these are units that are being told to move fast down the road. And for example, Tiger is doing the same thing, keeping those in groups of 2 or 3. Now, we can't really necessarily see any, markers or anything on these units, so it's hard to tell what types of divisions we're going to see, or squads, or special units. So it's maybe too early to tell. But with it being on the Eastern Front, we may see Polish resistance groups. We definitely see some Katyushas there in the back, getting ready to fire with the infantry being pushed up. And I will tell you right now, hold on just a second, let's roll back. You are never going to see this. This is probably something you're never going to see in the actual game, is that nobody brings up tanks and troops and support units like that, because this would just be demolished by artillery. The moment a player did this, aircraft would come in. There's no air support here. It looks beautiful, but with a strategy game like this, you're going to see flanking and specialist strikes. For example, all these units here, like the Hetzer, there's going to be somebody calling in an IL-2 or some sort of an artillery unit on that. So lots of beautiful aircraft here. ISU-152s, obviously. Everything small and heavy with tons of planes. Again, remember, it's 44, so we're going to be seeing a lot of heavy units, and this is when things got really hot. Beautiful to see all the aircraft. That's one thing I think the players really want to see a lot more, is aircraft being effective in Steel Division. Now, during the beginning of Steel Division, Normandy 44, a lot of people were talking about how they wanted to see more aircraft be more effective against ground targets and more anti-aircraft be effective against planes, but we didn't really see anything in terms of like Flak 88s or anti-aircraft units. I think we may have seen some for the Germans. I was thinking actually that may have been a Whirlwind or something, but there definitely could be Whirlwinds in here. Oswins, for example. Obviously, we're looking at large artillery and tank destroyers, light tanks, medium tanks, good explosions, beautiful fire. This is going to be a very cinematic game, so if you want that type of experience, that's what you're going to get. But I would encourage you to look at videos of Steel Division, what you're going to really get from the previous game. They could be improved upon a lot, but you're going to see frontline systems like this that push the front line forward as you capture your objectives. I'm really looking forward to seeing more information on this. I'm in. They got me interested. I'm definitely down to check out more of this one. So anyway, if you want to see more of this, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, folks, to let me know you'd like me to play through Steel Division 2 and give it a try for Operation Bagration. If I get additional codes and keys too, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. That might be a great opportunity for me to drop those to you, as previously they did a large beta that took place with multiple keys given away from. I think I got 50 keys to give away to our community, so stay tuned for more Steel Division 2. I'm really looking forward to seeing more games on the Eastern Front. Really, I can't think of any other than Wargame, or sorry, Company of Heroes 2, and then, of course, also Men of War, and now Steel Division being added to that as well. So check out Eugen Systems on all their Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages. Look for Eugen Systems, Steel Division 2, that kind of thing. I'll see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.